Good morning, good morning, good morning, Peter. Good morning, Clarice. Apologies for the delay. I'm not quite sure what's going on in the neighborhood, but it was absolute chaos this morning on the roads. And rather than try to do it, pulling over to the side of the road, we decided it would be better if we waited a few more minutes until we were able to be calm and composed, sitting at my desk. So this morning's learning is dedicated, as every morning, in memory of all those whose Yortzeit coincides with today. In particular, we wish long life to David Gaventa and everyone else, and please God, only Simchas, and wish long life to all those that are currently saying Kaddish. And also, we are learning this morning as a schus, as a merit for all those who are unwell in our community. We wish them well. So, over the last few days, we've mentioned and discussed about the inclemental weather. And one of the things I think that we have been grappling with is trying to deal with it, concerned, worried about our fences, worried about our homes, worried about the roofs that we have over our heads. And I think it gave us a fresh appreciation that that these things that we take for granted, we shouldn't. They are things that we need, things that we rely upon, and things that are very important in our lives. That protection from the elements, from the weather, having a roof over our heads isn't something we should take for granted. There is a debate between Bezalel, the great architect of the tabernacle on the one hand, and Moses, our greatest of leaders. And the debate really is found in the Talmud, in the Gemara Brachos, and the debate centers around what is the order, the priority list in terms of the construction of the tabernacle. You see, there was a difference of opinion between Bezalel, who is the architect, and Moshe, the leader. Moshe said that you should first make, he told Bezalel, first make the items that are required, the utensils that are required in the tabernacle. So make the menorah, the gold menorah, make the shulchan, the table, make the ark, which houses the 10 Commandments, and so on and so forth. But Bezalel came along and he said, that's not the way you do it. If you look at any home, the first thing you do is that you construct the exterior. You make the walls, you make the front door, the windows. And once you've constructed the house, then you are able to buy and to purchase and to construct and to create everything that is housed within it. You're doing it the wrong way around, Moshe. How can you make items or create items when there's nowhere to put them? What exactly is the nature of this argument? Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Rebecca, and all those that are still joining us. So there's many approaches to this, but I want to share with you the approach. I think it's quite straightforward, but Rav Lev suggests, and it is as follows, friends. From Moshe's perspective, and you have to understand that they were coming from very different vantage points. From Moshe's perspective, when Moshe was stating his opinion, it was before the sin of the golden calf. And from Moshe's perspective, it was clear cut. It's about the whole idea of the tabernacle is a point of connection, a way of expressing our love, our connection between us and the Almighty. The outside is just a casing. It's just a means to an end. So therefore, that is of secondary importance. The primacy is, of course, the items that go within it. Through serving in the tabernacle, that is what is going to bring me closer to God. Bezalel was speaking in the aftermath of the sin of the golden calf, and he had a very different perspective. He said to Moshe that you need boundaries. We need to construct borders. We need to have walls. We need to have a roof. We need to have a structure to be able to house and to hold the service of God. It can't be that, says Bezalel, anymore post the sin of the golden calf. that you just go ahead and you express your love for God, in the way that you see fit. We need a structure, we need an infrastructure, we need legislation, we need a framework. Now, the truth be told, who was right? Was it Moshe? Clarice, what do you think? Was it Moshe or was it Bezalel? The answer is, of course, that in absolute truth, in absolute truth, and the absolute reality is that Moshe was right. That the tabernacle and the framework, or any framework of law, is a means to an end. It enables and facilitates us to be able to engage, to connect, to bond, and to feel that connection to God. So therefore, Moshe was right. At the end of the day, the exterior, the walls, the boundaries were all well and good, but that wasn't what it was about. That was just to facilitate and to enable the items of the tabernacle to have a place to be housed. And therefore, the service of God is what's important, not what goes around it. So Bezalel, on the other hand, was saying that's all well and good in theory, but in practice, we've seen through the sin of the golden calf, you can't allow people to just have this self-expression in their overflowing love for God, because it doesn't work. It's exceptionally dangerous. It's treacherous. We can lead to people going off skew, and therefore we don't want that. So ultimately, of course, in the practical world that we live, Bezalel was ultimately correct in terms of the way things have to be carried out. And that is, of course, if we look at our own lives, it's very much the same. So, if we look at our homes, we have walls, we have a roof. But at the end of the day, that is just the framework, or it should just be the framework. So often we get so caught up in the framework or in the house, we don't actually focus on what's going on in the house, in the home. Ultimately, what's going on in the home is what it's all about. That's where the action is taking place. That's where the interaction and connection should be between members of the family. But the only way that you can have meaningful dialogue, connection, conversations, and relationships is by having a framework, is by having boundaries around you, as Bezalel was suggesting. If it's just a free-for-all and everyone does what they want when they want, and then you have anarchy and chaos. So unless you're exceptionally disciplined, it's not going to work. For a Moshe Rabbeinu, of course, he can do things the other way around. But for most people, and ourselves included, that's not the way we can carry on our lives. And therefore, I think when the winds were howling and we had part of the roof falling off, it became clear to me that with the essential nature in life of having clear boundaries, clear borders, a roof, a shelter, that we have a framework, that we all know where we are positioned, that we all know where we are going, that we are able to have that mutual respect. We speak about respecting somebody else's space. That's a phrase that's become very popular. And so often some of the problems that are historic, but we've seen in society that are rearing its ugly head once again, is when people have not understood the boundaries, have not understood what it is to respect somebody else's space. So therefore, in terms of service of God, in terms of our homes, in terms of our lives, ultimately, it can't just be about rules. It can't just be about boundaries. It's got to be that those are a means to an end. As Moshe said, in terms of connection, expressing, demonstrating our love, our connection, our relationship that we want with someone else and ultimately with God. But the way that we do that has to be the Bezalel path, has to be with a structure in place, a framework, a system, so that we are able to interact in a meaningful, constructive, but a disciplined way. And in that way, we'll ensure that our relationships with our fellow human being and with God thrive, and therefore we're able to strive for greatness. Wishing everyone well. We'll continue now with Psalm 23. Good Morning, Andrea. Thank you for your help last night behind the scenes. David, good morning. Good morning. And Richard, good morning. Lovely to have you here. Yes, it was a great talk last night with Danny Stone, and we're looking forward to many more. Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He causes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even as I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You set a table before me in the presence of my adversaries. You anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. May only goodness and kindness pursue me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord for length of days. Memorial prayer. Adon olamim zochoes nishma yishalchu li olamam anabal harachamim tasrim v'sesekanafech li olamim v'titzov zechayim nishma sam yanucha mishkosam v'shalom v'nomar amen. Before Shlema prayer for those that are well in our community. Mi sheberach avseinu Rabbi Yisrael Yaakov Moshe David Shlomo Yivarach Rabbi Zechaylem Babu Shanu Mispalim Babu Ram Yisrael B'Zchatzak Adol Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachem Aleichem Lachma Lefosam Yishlach Lem Fushlim Nishmaim Lechol Besoch Shach Yisrael Refuas HaNefesh V'Takov Hashabak Smakriv V'Namar Amen. Wishing everyone well. Look after yourselves. Keep safe. Keep well. Please God. We'll see you tomorrow. All being well. Take care. Have a great day. 9 o'clock tomorrow.